Hey, Mark Rodriguez here. You're watching America's #1 cure for insomnia, as well as this drink here, the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast. And as usual, I am not alone. With me are
Ninja Panda, 1980.
Jiffy Chan or Ninja Jiffy or Wendy McBride, your choice. But I'm going to turn this over to the one, the only, Johnny.
It's Johnny Rodriguez.
There we go. So today we're going to be talking about AEW Revolution, the results, our thoughts on the pay-per-view, and of course, dare to compare who was right, who was wrong from our last outing. And just real quick, want to point out, we'll be drinking this Sheets Bros coffee, iced coffee, which is apparently, I don't see the actual words on here. Oh, it's called Slightly Sweet. Interesting. There was one called, I thought it was the blueberry one. There's one that was blueberry, but I think this is a slightly sweet one. So I saw there's two different types, so I guess we'll go with the slightly sweet one. But next time, for the next episode, I'll get the blueberry one because, of course, we are going to be reviewing the upcoming Ring of Honor show. So speaking of Ring of Honor, well, first of all, just last minute thing real quick. Our very own buddy, we'll say buddy unless she says otherwise. Our good buddy, Kylan King, has made her official debut on Impact. I'm not sure if it was last night. I think it was last night because Twitter's all over it, so it might have been last night or the night before. I'm not sure. I don't with these particular people. I've never seen them before, but some woman, she kind of has kind of a cult leader gimmick, and she was making some kind of speech against whoever her opponent was. And while she was distracted, facing her opponent, Kylan King came up from behind with a chair and beat her down and stomped her and stuff. So she's going to be healed. She's going to be working like under this other person. And so, yeah, it's cool. But I kind of think like, yo, what'd you do, Tony Khan? You snorting all that coke. You let a good one go, man.
So wait a minute. You said she was beating a character that had a cult leader following?
I mean, she kind of looked like some kind of leader type character, like a leader of some wrestling faction or something. And Kylan King surprisingly beat up, I'm assuming, the face of the feud, revealing that this newcomer is part of this new faction. You know what I mean?
Okay, so crazy cult leader.
I just had to read up on them because I personally have never seen either of them, so I don't know who they are, and I feel bad for like mentioning like that because I don't know who they are. But that's a new thing. That Kylan King will be part of that faction, and we'll see what's going on. It looks like it's like 3 or 4 of them because it was like I saw like a group photo of like all of them together and stuff. So there's like 3 or 4 of them. So there you go. That's her ticket in.
Yeah. So crazy cult leader character. Cool. So she hit Taylor Swift?
No, jeez. Oh God. Now before we get canceled, but yeah, like I said, hey, she's our buddy. Unless she finds out about our podcast and say, hey, whoa, I just did an interview once. Like, yo, let's not get crazy. Unless she denies it, we'll say she's our buddy. But we're rooting for her, man. I mean, I wish her none for the best. I wish her to go up in her stardom, her career. Because if you remember, one of the things, and yes, I know, nudge, nudge, shout out to I'll put the link below to watch our episode where we actually had her on the show and interviewed her personally. One of the things she did say is that she did want to have actual storylines and actual feuds because so far, all she's been doing on like AEW Dark and NWA and them is just matches, just random matches and stuff, or maybe like a feud, but it only lasts for a match or two. She wants actual memorable feuds. So now that she's part of this faction, there you go. I mean, that'll probably be parts of feuds, get her story going. Maybe they'll do the thing where she eventually breaks away and stuff, so there you go. Congrats. Yeah. So,
I'm rooting for her too, because as a fellow former high school volleyball player, I root for her because she's a former high school volleyball player.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is we also saw the Ring of Honor second episode that now it's, in case you guys missed our last podcast, they're back on the Honor Club. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get like actual TV times. So the closest thing you have is every Thursday on the Honor Club app. You can check them out. And my only thoughts was, holy shit, that main event, Athena versus Willow Nightingale for the Ring of Honor women's title, they were fucking each other up, yo. They're fucking each other up. And Willow, oh God, she can sell. She can sell. She got hurt in her back, and her cries made me feel so bad for her because she really sounded like a wounded puppy. And of course, here comes Dina to keep kicking her back, stomping her back, doing a sliding drop kick to knock her ass off the mat and everything. And lately, Athena's been doing the thing where she gets the opponent's arm and gets it stuck in between the steel steps and the ring, and then run and smash into it, you know? So when that happened, Willow really sold, oh my God, you know, all that shit, you know? Like, it was real intense, you know? And then there was a part where Willow actually grabbed her for some kind of big backbreaker move, so now Athena was also in pain. So it got intense, man. It got intense. And one advantage of the thing is the streaming app is that they are able to go the extra 2, 3, 4 minutes till the match is over. Because one thing I hate about Dynamite, it's a pet peeve of mine, is they always say like, oh my God, I've just been told this match is going to go on as long as it takes, blah, 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 blah. And then like it still ends perfectly at 10 o'clock anyway. You guys seen the episode? They always do that. The main event, it gets intense, and it's like we're going to go on as long as it takes until we get a win. It fucking ends at 10 o'clock anyway, you know? And one thing I did want to say, there was an episode once due to the, I think the playoffs or some shit, where they actually went a half hour over.
Oh, I think I heard that.
They kept announcing it though. They kept saying, you know, this special time, this special half hour. No, don't announce it. Because it would have been so badass if you had the main event and you actually say you know, we'll keep this fight going, and then actually have it go the extra half hour. People would be like, holy shit, dude, you know, like that would have, you know, like, but I don't know, man. Tony Khan is like that one kid that's like, I got you a present. Oh my God, you know, and you're like still opening it up. I hope you like it. It's a video game. He's already spoiling it for you before you open it because he's so excited.
No. He would probably say something more like, not just a video game, it's something I know you've always wanted. And he'll just announce whatever this game title is.
Yeah. It's like a lot of these, you know, surprise people is always kind of ruined because he's always like, you know, Tony Khan has a special announcement this week, which is every other week. You know what I mean? It's like it's more surprising if he doesn't say that, so that it is more of a, you know, like CM Punk's appearance. He who should not be named, whatever. They have the fucking Chicago things all over the place. Like everyone knew he was gonna be there. You know what I mean? This fucking Tony Khan can't shut the fuck up. You know?
Well, when you're already hyped up, you know, you always have to talk. You know, he's Tony Khan. He's always hyped up. He doesn't blink, you know.
Yeah, he's so hyped up that he doesn't even blink. And everything. That's just insane. And I don't know. And so any other thoughts? I know you guys haven't been catching up with the app, but it's pretty cool. We got to see what's his name, Walton Castle with the boys and stuff like that. And they're gonna have Jay Briscoe's gonna be going against Samoa Joe. That's gonna be fucking awesome. That's a fucking dream match right there. Eddie Kingston versus Claudio for the title. I don't know if that's for the pay-per-view. That'll probably be just for next episode. And of course, we got the upcoming Yuka Sakazaki versus Athena for the title. So that's pretty cool and everything. So yeah, I guess we could start. I'm not sure if there's been any other big wrestling news before we get into the pay-per-view.
Nothing that I know of so far.
What were you saying about the Triple H thing?
Oh no, I just thought it was really funny. Just kind of an irony of how sadistic Triple H is kind of to Braun Strowman. Considering he tried to make the show of, you know, he tried to make this whole wrestling show where it was like no over the rope move.
Hey,
Jack Knives!
Holy shit!
I'm back.
Oh my God! You just popped in out of nowhere. Which one of you guys gave him the link? Y'all sneaky little rascals! Oh my goodness! Yep, must have been with you. But anyways, guys, you came just in time. We're gonna talk about Revolution, and we're gonna see what's going on. But tell us a little bit where you been up to, man, or do you got any wrestling news you want to tell us real quick?
Well,
New Japan Pro Wrestling or something.
Well, there's kind of a bit of a major shift right now in New Japan. Jay White completely lost. So he lost a loser leaves Japan match, and a loser leaves New Japan match which means for the first time ever, the Bullet Club has no leader.
But
So no one's really
to.
Oh, the first match he lost was against Hikuleo, who's the youngest brother of the Gorillas of Destiny. Huge guy. Guy's like about, I think he's like close to 7 feet tall. He's a pretty big dude. And then the guy he lost to in the States at Battle in the Valley to loser leaves New Japan match was Eddie Kingston.
Oh, he was in New Japan?
Yeah, he basically, they made a deal. Jay White didn't want Eddie Kingston to wrestle in New Japan at all. Eddie Kingston had always wanted to wrestle there, but they felt that he was unsafe because, you know, his past stuff. So they basically didn't want him to wrestle there. And he had so much respect for the Japanese style of strong style. And so they were letting him wrestle. And Jay was like, get the hell out of my ring kind of thing. And they basically made a deal where if Kingston won, he could still wrestle in New Japan. And if whoever lost that match would be banned from New Japan. And Jay ended up losing. So, and then after the match, Kingston actually got on his knees and bowed to Jay.
Well, there you go.
Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. Oh, wow. But, and then Mercedes Moné, a.k.a. Sasha Banks, is now the IWGP Women's Champion.
Who'd she
so, Kairi.
Oh,
Kairi was the first. Yeah, Kairi was the first ever IWGP Women's Champion. And it's the first women's title created by New Japan. So it's recognized as basically internationally the world title. So, so she's literally the world champion, and she's 100 times better of a wrestler than she ever was. Like, her and Kairi went like for almost 20 minutes. Like, it was a really, really good match.
I like Kairi. I do like Kairi. You know how I feel.
Yeah, no, I love Kairi too. And that there's also there's also some tension I've heard behind the scenes in WWE that Io is not really happy with the way they're using her, so she might go back to Stardom, which that would be awesome because that means she could end up fighting Io, so who knows.
Yeah. Now I noticed on Fight TV there's gonna be like some kind of like Joshi pay-per-view type thing that has some familiar faces, like Maki Ito's gonna be there. And I think, who's that girl that's been wrestling a lot lately? And Billy Starks is going to be there. And,
yeah. It's going to be a big, So I'm actually, at the end of this month, during WrestleMania weekend, there's a thing called WrestleCon. At the same time they do WrestleCon, the whole area of wherever the WrestleMania is, every wrestling promotion from out of the woodwork comes, we're going to do a show. No, we're going to do a show. We're going to do a show. So on the 30th of March, I'm actually going to be at, it's a New Japan, first time ever New Japan Impact crossover show. And then I think the next night, I'm not going to be able to go to it, but the next night is the first ever Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling show in the States.
Yeah.
So I think that might be the show you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm just curious.
Yeah.
If y'all going to watch it so that we can maybe review it. We won't do predictions because it's too short notice, but maybe we could review it just to, expand a bit, not be all
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be so many, it's like just in that arena. So it's that whole week, not even counting WrestleMania and NXT, but everywhere, like just on the 30th, like I said, that New Japan Impact show. The same day, Ring of Honor show. Then the next day, a TJPW show. Then the next day, they're doing a show for Prominence, which is basically going to be a massive, Defiance Wrestling. And the main event is going to be Aja Kong versus Masha Slamovich.
Oh, wow.
So that's literally just going to be a hard-hitting fighter versus a old-school Joshi hard-hitting hardcore wrestler. So it's like, okay. So yeah, there's going to be so much wrestling that weekend. But I'm going to get to meet all these. Like I'll take lots of photos. I'll take lots of photos.
Yeah, please take photos. We can post them up, like you meeting the guys and and all that.
Yeah. I'm mainly excited, to be honest. Like they just announced last week that Suzuki's going to be there, so I'm going to meet him. I'm like, I'm going to meet Suzuki. Awesome.
Oh, that's badass,
I'm gonna
man.
maybe if I pay him extra, he could put me in a stranglehold. That'd be cool.
I would say that going back like to Joshi style wrestling and stuff, I will say that I have seen some when I was over in Japan. I couldn't tell you any wrestlers offhand, but one thing I do like, they actually wrestled, and I always had kind of a low opinion of our female wrestlers. Not all of them, but the way they were kind of handled here. So yeah, but I like over there, and I was watching it sometimes, and I would see how the women wrestled there and how they've been wrestling for years compared to how it was here, up to a certain point.
Yeah. The women's wrestling, there's actually a YouTube channel I follow. I believe they're called Joshi Wrestling Archive. And
Please
the guy
share it.
posts stuff from I will. The guy posts I think every other day, old VHS archives that he re-uploaded, but they have matches that there was apparently there was supposed to be a documentary that was supposed to come out this year, but it was about the transition of women's wrestling. And they talked about how really because of Fabulous Moolah and Vince, they all these wrestling promoters collectively agreed, no one wants to see women wrestle. They only want to see women look naked and sexy. But the first organization in the States that actually changed that was TNA, which is hilarious with their initials. But yeah, that's where the Knockouts division came from. So with the Knockouts division, it kind of reintroduced women's wrestling back into the States. So it's kind of cool. It was this really interesting thing. I heard they were going to make a documentary about it. But that's all and of course, since I've been gone, unfortunately, Jay Briscoe passed, and I was really heartbroken with that.
Yeah.
But what I've been up to, I've mostly just been working on my channel, working outside of my channel. That's pretty much it. I've just been scrambling.
Yeah. Well, it's oh man, I guess we got to see when he's gonna come back.
I want to interrupt the chats, but Ricky Rocks just sent a message saying that give me a shout out on the cast guys I'm at Cherry Hill Horror Con waiting to meet Undertaker.
Oh shit.
Oh,
okay, that's awesome.
Now, one thing we'll definitely do is that if he gets a photo or something, I know he was going to get an autograph, but if he gets a photo with Undertaker, we're definitely going to post that somewhere in the podcast.
For sure, definitely.
Tell Ricky Rocks to send us a photo if he gets a photo with Undertaker, to send us a photo.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also just bought some Ricky Rocks merch, so I hopefully get it in a couple of weeks or however long it takes. I'm putting a pre-order down for Ricky Rocks Funko Pops. We got the super 1 out of every 5,000 is the shirtless variant, so
Where's my Funko Pop? Everyone knows I'm the main attraction here. No. All right. So
when he gets back on, then we'll start. One thing I do want to mention is because I was every show I'm trying to get a different drink and taste it, but this slightly sweet Sheets coffee, it literally just tastes like actual literal coffee. It doesn't even taste like an energy drink or a frappuccino. It literally tastes like coffee with some sugar in it. You know what I mean? Or sweetener or whatever. So it is like they say exactly as described in the tin. It's slightly sweet coffee. I was kind of disappointed. I was trying to get the blueberry muffin one because I'm like, blueberry muffin? What the fuck? But I guess I got this instead. But I'll try for the next episode and get that. We're gonna start with AEW Revolution because hey, that's the thing that happened, right? So the first match for the 0 hour, which is kind of weird. I felt they could have put another match in there, but another women's match. Which to my credit, I do want to give a shout out that the Ring of Honor show has been having 2 women's matches per episode. Something that even Dynamite can't do, So anyways, first match was Mark Briscoe joining the Lucha Brothers, Cero Miedo, going up against Ari Daivari and varsity athletes who are Josh Woods and Tony Nese, with Mark Sterling in the background, just, he was there. And 6-man tag team match, pretty good, pretty high flying. The Lucha Brothers did all their incredible flippy shit, and Mark Briscoe got to get the pin, get the win there, and you know everyone loves Mark Briscoe, and that's the most I can remember from the match there. I don't know if any of you guys got any additional input.
Not really. It was a pretty quick match. It really wasn't really much to write home about.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I don't really remember too much of it because it just went by so fast. It was almost like a tag team squash match. Like it just went by so quickly. I don't remember any major details of it.
I remember trying to explain to my mother who came in at round about that time during that match, you know, about the people in the match and stuff. And do you remember what I was telling her?
Not really.
Yeah, me either. I just say, well, they're the luchas, and you know, the luchadors. They flip, they do stuff, and the other guy, like, he's 50 years old. He's like in his 30s. You know, just that's about it, really.
What's so funny is the one thing that does make me laugh is I get what people are coming from in a sense where they're like, oh, well, the only reason they're putting Mark on is because, you know, Jay's gone, which is some truth to that. But they're acting as though like he doesn't have talent. I'm like, the guy has been wrestling consistently nonstop for 20 years and he has a lot of skill in the ring. So I don't know. I honestly think they should just let him, like they would have to drop the titles for the Ring of Honor titles. And I think they should like give him like a shot at like another title, like maybe the TV title. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
But that's just my opinion.
Which is what I thought they were going to do originally when they said they were bringing him into AEW, but apparently I was wrong.
Yep. So the next match, just to go real quick. Obviously, all four of us went for Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros because we never really heard much about the varsity athletes and all that stuff. So it's kind of one-sided. We all went for Briscoe and the Lucha Bros, so everyone got a point there. So the next match of the actual official show, yes, Wendy?
All right, I was just wondering, since I did have to step away for a moment, I would just say, you give a shout out to Ricky Rocks?
Yeah, we did.
All right, I missed all of that.
Oh, God, you got pictures with a Freddy cosplayer, a Jason cosplayer. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll be posting these pictures, or maybe I'll just say it right now. So right now, you guys should be seeing, you know, people on YouTube land and Odyssey land and wherever else. Cool picture of Ricky Rocks with Freddy Krueger looking menacing as usual. And we also have a picture of him with Jason, kind of friendly with Jason there. So that's kind of cool. And we'll see what happens. He's currently in line as we speak to meet the Undertaker in person. So we'll see how that's going on. Whenever we get there, I'll update that. So this is like all happening live. It's kind of funny how it works out. So anyways, guys, the first official match to start the show proper is Jericho going up against Ricky Starks and everything, which is
Mark. I didn't even comment on the last match.
Well, do you have any comments for the last match?
Well, basically, not much. It was a quick match, but I just felt like it was just like a regular match. They could have just watched in a regular Raw episode. Like, it's not really, I don't consider it to be pay-per-view worthy.
Yeah. Oh, that's the only thing I was telling your mom, I think, Wendy, was just the fact that that particular match was free and is supposed to kind of like entice people to like, you know, like if you like this and this is free, then take out your credit card and get the real event because you know, that kind of thing. So
yeah, that's right. I know it was something you were saying, so I just couldn't recall right off. That's what it was. He does, you know, like you say, it entices you to want to watch the paid part of the show.
Yeah.
Instead of just the free part. Like, oh wow, flippy shit! I can't wait to see a whole show with flippy shit.
Yeah. So anyways, Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks, and in this particular match, the Jericho Appreciation Society, the epitome of sports entertainers, have been banned from ringside. So it has to be a fair one-on-one fight. And yeah, you know, it's a pretty good fight, pretty good opener and everything. And, you know, it's always cool to see Jericho still do his things. Even at his age, he can still do, every time he does the line salt off the ropes, that always gets me. That's pretty cool. One thing that was kind of rare is that Starks actually blocked the Judas effect. We don't see that too often. I was like, oh, because I was seeing him do it, and I was like, well, here we go. Jericho wins. He blocked it. What the fuck? You know, that was pretty cool. And as usual, you know that the sports entertainers had to get involved. So Sammy tried to get in, but Action Andretti got in there to, you know, keep him from getting involved and all that. So, you know, pretty good match. And Ricky Starks won. So any comments, amigos? Well, we can let Jack go first. He hasn't been with us for a while.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't really it's kind of funny because I was thinking about this. I'm like, it was really good for a Ricky Starks match, but it was just kind of meh for a Jericho match. I think it's because he's coming to that point in his career where like everyone's silently like, he should stop now, but no one's going to tell him that. You know, kind of like an old man who won't get out of his chair. And it's like, come on, okay, grandma, you don't have to get you. Okay, we'll go get you crackers. Okay, you don't have to get up in there. That's exactly. Exactly. Like Ric Flair. But my thing of it is I think it was an okay starter for the show. I don't think it should have been the starter for the show. Personally, I personally think that the starter should have probably been the tag team match because there was a lot more going on. But that's me, you know, for the titles. I think that would have made more sense to start the show with that. But for what it was, I thought it was pretty good. I think Starks put up a really good fight, and I think it's probably the biggest match he's ever had in his career. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do with him. I would like to see him get like some sort of push, but not like a huge push yet. I think he's got to do a few more things before he's earned like a big shot at something.
Yeah, I agree with you there. They need to kind of inch him ahead and put him in the spotlight, but not just like rocket him off. It was a fairly decent match, and I'm actually surprised that he blocked the slowest elbow in sports entertainment. Yeah. But, you know, otherwise, fairly decent match. I do agree with you on, you know, the fact of, put him in the spotlight, don't rocket him off, and then just, you know, leave him nowhere like they've been doing a lot recently with other wrestlers. And this shouldn't have been the first match. That tag team match, you were correct. That should have been the first match. And then this one should have been somewhere within the shuffle, like somewhere near the mid-card. But otherwise, it was still a fairly good match.
You know, I didn't think about that till you both brought that up. Like, this really shouldn't have been an opening match. So, yeah, that tag team match, oh my God, it was hard trying to keep up with all of that. One person there, one person here, who's the legal person, who's the, you know, I was like, oh, my mind. But yeah, I agree with you. The whole match with Jericho and Ricky Starks, well, I know I was going for Ricky. Was that going for Ricky Starks? Did I go for Ricky Starks? Yeah. I didn't want him to win. I was saying, if he could tap out to Claudio, why can't Ricky Starks beat him? Just saying. But also, I was also expecting if Ricky Starks won or lost, that the JAS would still come out and beat him up in some way anyway. So that was like, you know, a no-brainer to me. I still like how Ricky Starks tricked Jericho. Oh, good Lord. I still love how Ricky Starks tricked Jericho into signing that contract, though. I just thought it was funny. All right, Johnny Rodriguez.
Okay, so what I thought about the match, I have the similar viewpoint like from the previous match. It's still a very good match, and, you know, it's fantastic. I mean, I think Ricky Starks is getting better and better each time he fights. He definitely is a very talented wrestler, and it would be amazing to see him grow more with the company, you know, in general. So it's a good match in that aspect. Kind of like what Jack and I said about.
No, what I was gonna say was, well, one thing I was gonna point out. I don't know if anyone else has made this connection yet. So Starks reminds me a lot of Okay. Not at the beginning of his career, but when he was transitioning, when Rocky Maivia was transitioning into The Rock, that's what Ricky Stark reminds me of. Like, not quite good enough yet, but like just joining the nation. You know, that's what Ricky Starks reminds me of, like the just joining the nation version of The Rock. And I think the problem is Ricky, he's good, he's talented, but I don't know if he's talented enough yet to stand on his own quite yet. I think he might need a few more W's under his belt before that happens.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I get what you're saying, because when Rocky Maivia first started joining the Nation of Domination, that's when he started getting his footing and started getting more of a personality, more of a character, and his wrestling even enhanced at that point. So, yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. Like, give him a little while longer, and then maybe, he'll get to that point. But I don't really think he's fully ready yet for the prime time of the whole AEW deal.
I remember, though, did you mention that about The Rock in his early stages? I remember when he was having a bit of a mic battle against MJF, people were comparing him a bit to The Rock, like the mic skills, and he actually did do a decent, like a good enough promo to stand up against MJF. Because if you go up against MJF unprepared, I mean, he'll smoke you, But like people were very impressed by his mic work as he was firing back against MJF. So there was a bit of Rock comparisons there. That was kind of interesting that Jack brought that up. So some people are kind of seeing that,
Yeah. So Johnny, back to what you were saying. Sorry you got cut off.
Oh, keep going.
Mm.
Oh, plus I think I got cut short. I don't know what Zoom was doing, so I don't know if you guys were able to see everything I was saying about this match.
We only heard up to the point where you said my thoughts on the match, and then you just cut off. You just froze instantly.
So let me say what I was originally going to say before Zoom started to act up again for some weird reason. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. Ricky Starks is a very good tag team wrestler. I think the match was so good on its own. I have the same opinion that for the previous match, I don't think it's pay-per-view worthy, in my opinion. I think it's just more like a regular match you could watch on Raw. It's so good match on its own. Ricky Starks is a good wrestler. I would like to see him grow in the company. I think he has what it takes to be a bigger star. And yeah, pretty much like what you guys say, I think Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho is reaching to that point where it's like, yo, dude, maybe you need to, retire or, don't, retire now while you still can, so that you don't end up having that bloody match that Ric Flair had with that pay-per-view.
Well, I'm just going to say, retire maybe a month or so later after we sung along to Judas one last time live and in person. But one thing I do want to say is that 2 years ago when we went to see the first episode of Rampage live with Johnny there, even back then, like, because most of it was dark matches, you got to get your money's worth. So it was 2 hours of dark matches in the actual Rampage show. And even back then, with us not knowing too much of the other guys, we didn't know that many of the people on Dark except for like Ty Conti and stuff like that. Johnny was still impressed by Ricky Starks back then, so that's pretty cool. And what do you think of your thoughts there, Johnny, comparing like how he was kind of starting on Dark to where he is now, going up against like Jericho and MJF and all them?
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. And then the thing is that where when the whole wrestling thing ends and all the wrestlers, they drive around the cars or they walk out of the stadium and fans can still, take pictures of the wrestlers and all that stuff. I still managed to see Ricky Starks, like, get in his car, whatever, like, I guess he's trying to leave, like, hey, let me, but it was so cool that you get to see him, like, in pretty, even though I didn't, like, took a picture of him or anything like that, but you still see him in the background, that he's walking to his car, of all the security guards or whatever, and they're driving off, right? But it's so cool to see the wrestlers, like, and I think we saw those varsity guys. I'm not sure they were there. I think they were there.
Yeah.
That's one of my. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
But I actually, yeah, I'm looking forward to that again.
Like, that's one of my reasons I'm such a huge New Japan fan, is because of the concept that they have of the Young Lion program. Or actually, now they just introduced the New Japan Academy, which is basically like a condensed version of it, which is what Sasha Banks actually went through. Sorry, Mercedes Moné went through. So basically, it's a training program where you are literally, it's a boot camp. Every single day, it's like a boot camp, but it's just pure wrestling. And you get like living quarters. You have to do chores. It's literally like living in a group place. But but basically, when you watch New Japan enough, or you watch Stardom enough, or you watch these programs enough, and you see the kind of young kids and they grow up into the system, you get much more of a connection to them when they do make it big, if they make it big. Because that's the thing, is like they have to get past that threshold. And you and I, Mark, have watched enough wrestling to know some people are too green that should not be pushed. And we've also seen guys that are way overqualified that we're like, why have you not done anything with them? What the hell's wrong with you? And that's kind of where I'm at. Like with Ricky Starks, I've seen his development getting better and better. I just don't know if he's necessarily up to... I see him right now. I think if they switched what they're doing with Keith Lee and him, like have Ricky Starks working with a veteran or something, and then have Keith Lee doing a singles run, and then a couple months down the line, then have Ricky Starks take a singles run. That's what I think. That would make more sense for me.
Thank you.
So all of us went for Ricky Starks at this point. Even I, the Jericho fan, still went for Ricky Starks. So we all went for Ricky Starks. So everyone gets a point. And that's another thing, Jack. We needed you last time because we were not really divided on so many of these. So you would have been Mr. Contrarian.
No.
Yeah. So anyways, the next
hold on. There is one match where I wanted to change my answer as I was watching, because I thought about, logically said, wait a minute, but I'll wait till we get there.
Yeah, no, like they say, no.
To be fair, I probably would have picked Jericho solely because I just had a feeling like, the ref was going to get knocked out. And then like when you have a stipulation where it's like, they can't interfere, it's like, come on. We're not that stupid. Come on. Someone's going to do some shenanigans. We're not falling for that.
Shenanigans.
But then, and what happened? Like Sammy, I'm like, I love how Sammy Guevara like just casually walks up and the ref is just like, I'm like, ring the bell. Damn, are you people stupid? Like that's part of the stipulation. Anyway.
Yeah. So the next match we had is the big one here that prevented us from having William fuming mad. It was a decent match between Christian Cage and Jungle Jack Perry in the final burial match, where the stipulation was the only way to win this is to lock someone into that casket and shut it down and everything. And we're gonna say they delivered. It was a pretty awesome match. They both really went at it like crazy. It was, I believe, it was no disqualification type match. So they were, beating the crap out of each other outside the ring, inside the ring, and everything. And even using the shovel that would be used for the burial as a weapon, throwing the extra dust in their face to blind the person and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. And yeah, it got real close. I mean, they actually had Perry in the coffin. He was just like having his legs or his arms out to prevent, the final, like, because you have to actually close it, So that was like pretty close. We were like, oh shit, you're gonna have Christian Cage win this one. It was real close. But no, in the end, Perry did the concerto on Christian Cage, just knocked his ass flat out, put him in there, shut the coffin, and there we go. There's the wrap. And yeah, pretty awesome match. I loved it.
Finally, I got the match that I wanted. Actually, a bit more than I wanted. I wasn't expecting a coffin match, but that was one hell of a good match. And again, I'm liking the maturity that's going on with Jungle Boy as him, since Luchasaurus has left and Christian Cage pretty much back turned on him. He's become a lot more darker, especially, of all things, You use a shovel and a concerto on Christian? Yeah, he's gotten much darker than what he used to be when he first started. So I'm starting to like that more in his character. It was well needed. It was a good revenge match. And it was pretty close, Like you said, Christian almost closed the coffin on him, but he got out. But overall, damn good match. It was worth the wait.
I don't know where Jack went over there, but I'll give my opinion if it's okay. I like this match, and I'm glad that I mean, like you said, it was like everything was like so close, especially when you had like Jungle Boy, like Jack Perry up in the casket or whatever, and you think like, oh my God, Christian is actually gonna win. Come on now, he should not be winning. That was just my thought process. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. A lot of like you mentioned, a lot of close calls, like pretty good action. Christian's doing pretty cool. For a guy his age. All that. I got down with it. It rocked. It rocked for me. I liked it. I'm glad it should be early in the card. I think I think this should have came before the Jericho match too.
I think the major criticism I had of this match was actually, weirdly enough, nothing to do with the actual match, because the match was good. It was a good match. It had good spots. There was a good amount of back and forth between Christian and Jungle Boy. They're very similar in style. So if you ever noticed that, I don't know if anyone else has caught on that. Jungle Boy almost wrestles like Christian when he was, long haired, like Christian, like that. He does wrestle like him when he was solo by himself.
He does.
But the only downside I had with this, and it's a huge one, was there was almost no build up to this match. Like Christian came back 2 weeks ago, and then the match was announced a week prior. I'm like, come on, guys, this should have been announced like at least a month in advance. If this is like, hey, I'm back, and then a month, and then like give it another week of them, and then the third week, and then this match would have been like, everyone would be like, yeah. I'm like, but then it was weird. It just felt rushed as far as the buildup, but the match itself was solid. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun, although I was a little confused because I was like, wait, is this a buried alive or a casket match? Which is it? But then he puts them in the casket and it just goes like it literally. It literally just went like I was just waiting for that
it
sound.
Fucking broke or collapsed or some shit. He closed the door. And
it just went. It dropped.
Was that supposed?
Oh, I thought that was planned.
No, it's called a kill your opponent match and put them in the hospital. That's what it's called. Either kill or put them in the hospital match.
I know they were trying to make it look epic. I know it was probably intentional, but it looked more like that scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where Veruca's like singing and it goes, and then she falls through. That's what I was thinking. It's like, I defeated you, Christian.
Like that's what I was thinking. Just fell so suddenly, like the only thing made was
what would have made it funnier is if Luchasaurus came out like, Christian, no, and he dives in after him. It would have been so much fun. It was so much fun.
And then like Darby Allin's in the corner going, now that's what I call a coffin drop, something.
There you go. But no, honestly, like I said, I think the match was solid. I was rooting for Jungle Boy. I'm still rooting for Jungle Boy, and they gotta push this guy. I'm like, how in the hell has Cassidy how is Darby Allin and Cassidy had titles before Jungle Boy? That so blows my mind. Like even if you count the FTW title, even if you count the FTW title, Ricky Starks has had a title before Jungle Boy. I'm like, this is crazy.
I mean, also just the tag team titles, but not like one for his own.
Yeah, but he's good enough on his own. Like, I think he's at that point where he should be running for like a singles run. He's more than ready for a singles run, and they clearly don't know what to do with him. So, but then again, I say the same thing about Brian Cage because they really don't know what to do with him either.
No, they don't.
Like, I waited for Luchasaurus to show up. There was no sign of him. Like, what happened to him?
Yeah, he's still got legal copyright problems with this mask thing or whatever.
Is that what it is?
Mask.
Yeah, some other special effects company apparently, I guess the exact same mask. So they're pissed off that AEW and Luchasaurus are making money off like the mask on the show and the mask on action figures and shit like that. So he's into some kind of legal trouble. So don't be like super surprised if whenever Luchasaurus comes back, if his mask does look different. Like don't be surprised if it does. Because that's the thing. It's not even altered. It's like the exact same mask that these guys are using and everything.
Well, funny enough, you bring that up. This is a little bit of a side, but that's the actual reason. That's one of the major reasons why the AEW game has not come out yet.
Because
No, not because of that. Because the contracts that Tony Khan had created for all of these wrestlers' entrances, he made it for wrestling, not for anything else. But he put those songs in the game without the prior consent of the artists.
Oh, like the Boy theme and all that?
Yeah, and the first band that jumped on that was the Pixies. That's why they don't play Where's My Mind anymore for Orange Cassidy.
Oh.
Yeah, and then Jefferson Airplane were like, okay, we'll take it for money. And that's where the song Jane is his theme. But yeah, so all of these artists agreed, hey, you can use our theme for your wrestler and the wrestling, but not for TV, but not for games. They never agreed to games. So Tony Khan, he basically was trying to weasel his way out of paying them copyright fees, basically is what it was.
Man.
So that's why it's taken so long.
He spent all that money on coke, but he can't spend money on copyright.
Well, that sucks though, because then that means that like Ruby Soho and them are gonna be coming out to some rando generic themes or some shit like in the game.
Just have them come out to the Sailor Moon theme. It's the same thing. Why not?
Fighting evil by moonlight.
So, anyway, all of us went for. Oh, Johnny, your thoughts?
To be honest, now that you guys are talking about the copyright thing, okay, I'll talk about my opinion about the match, but I just want to really quickly say I'm surprised they haven't said anything about Jungle Boy's theme because that song's very popular. And I'm surprised they're not like, hey, like Jungle Boy's making money out of that music. So, hey, yo, I want my share. Like I'm surprised they didn't do that.
I still like that one where Moxley came out fighting against whoever it was, and they kept repeating Wild Thing over and over and over. I'm saying, damn, like
I was there when that happened.
It was money worth for that shit.
I was there when that happened too.
I wanted to talk about the match. I think that because Jungle Boy is starting to be a little.
I gotta say something, Jack, because you missed out. One thing that was pretty cool was that our very own DJF was actually live at that. I forgot which review it was, but the one that was like Soraya's, big comeback match, and he was lucky enough to actually be sitting next to her brother. So he appeared on TV.
Yeah, I saw him on TV
every time.
Yeah, I saw him on TV. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I was looking for him in the crowd because I knew he paid for good seats, but I didn't know he was sitting right next to the brother. So every time that the fight took there, and you know how it is, Britt Baker's like taunting the brother and shit. He's like fucking right there, and it's like, what the hell? Just mugging the camera. He should have at least worn a Diving Cutter podcast button or something. Come on, dude, represent,
Sorry, Johnny. Go on with what you're saying. Sorry.
See, real quick, before I actually get the actual opinion of the match, is that I think because Jungle Boy is starting to be more darker, and I guess I wouldn't say he's like 100% healed yet, but he's starting to get more edgier in certain aspects. I think they should. I know people love the music. I forgot the name of the song. It's a very popular
Tarzan Boy.
Tarzan Boy by Baltimore.
But I know the fans love that song. We all love it. But for strategy purpose, maybe they need to kind of slowly get rid of it. Not because the song is bad, but it's more because it's not quite matching Jungle Boy's persona anymore. He's becoming a little bit more dark. So maybe they should put something else that reflects that.
I agree. I think what they should.
I know. I got the perfect theme. A slowed down version of Tarzan Boy to make it sound creepy.
No, I know a great song that would actually work if he started saying, I'm no longer Jungle Boy. I'm a jungle man. And then he uses Jungle Man from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh my God. That would be perfect. Because that song's got this deep beat. It's like, bam, ba, bam, 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 bam. I'm like, it would work perfectly for, like, I was like, him coming to that. I'm like, oh, that'd be great. But no, I agree. I do agree 100% with you, Johnny. I'm 100% on your side.
Probably gonna ask for copyright, because it's Red Hot Chili Peppers we're talking about. Now,
Yeah,
hey,
but they'll be cool with it. They're like, oh, why
Yeah,
not?
they're cool with everything. They real chill, man. That's why I like them, man.
but yeah, the match itself, it's pretty good. I actually like the newer Jungle Boy. He's getting more violence, and I like the fact that yeah, you could see, yeah, maybe this match should have been promoted better, but you can see the intensity of him versus Christian Cage, and I just love the concept that, hey, what's the best way to finish the match and to actually bury the hatchet, literally speaking. So it was pretty awesome to actually see Christian Cage buried in a tombstone. There were times that I thought Jungle Boy was going to lose the match. So yeah, that was pretty great and fantastic, and I just can't wait to see more of Jungle Boy. Like this new facet of Jungle Boy. I want to see more of that, and I hope that eventually they'll change his theme to reflect that, something more darker, more edgier. Maybe he could change his appearance a little bit, maybe be a little more dark looking. I don't know, just something to kind of change it up a little bit, because I think that would be perfect down the road.
I do wonder
think if he
though
came out
that
with-
collapsing thing was, I don't know. I feel like it's a botch. I don't know. I just feel like
I think it was planned, because if you watch it again, when it collapsed, you hear a sound. You hear like an actual like if it wasn't planned, it wouldn't have had a sound effect. But that's my theory. But my thing of it is like I also agree with his ring gear. What he should do is he should come out with like I know it's kind of weird, but like kind of like those makeshift like black just tearaway pants, and then just like a denim like punk jacket, and just come out like that. And then when he gets in the ring, he takes that off, and then he's got the jungle tights on underneath. Like that would be kind of cool. Like he's like, oh yeah, I'm ready for a fight either way, like kind of thing. Like it'd be weird, but it'd be kind of cool. It's like, oh, he's tough, but he's also kind of like, okay.
yeah. So for this one, we all went for Jungle Boys. We're all still tied. We're like 4 points each so far. So wow, let's see here. So the next one is a pretty big match here. We got the Elite, which is Kenny Omega and Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, which of course Brandon Cutler and Michael Nakazawa just, they were there loitering, versus the House of Black with Malachi Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Julia Hart also there, but, looking damn fine while she's being there, So it was a match, 6-man tag team match for the AEW World Trio Championship. And what can I say? It's a pretty awesome match. A lot of it was actually Omega versus Malachi Black, which really made me think like, damn, I got to see a match where it's just those two. It was pretty bad. It was those two. Of course, all the flippy shit you expect from the Bucks and blah, 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 blah. I did like seeing Brody King just tear up shit. I did see Buddy Matthews just tear up shit. It's pretty cool. And I just like the little bit of the size difference, And I remember near the end, Julia Hart was trying to distract one of the elites. I forgot which one they were. And I think it was Malachi that accidentally knocked Julia Hart out and stuff. But during that, they still got the pin on whoever it was. And they actually won. And I'm surprised that, holy shit, they gave the win to the House of Black. I'm really impressed. I was really expecting it to be yet another, the elite, yeah, whatever. But I was really super surprised that House of Black won. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. I was like, oh, me and one of you were like, yeah, when they won. That's just awesome.
Yeah, I'm to be honest with you, not surprised that the Elite lost it, because ever since they've come back from the whole CM Punk scrum ordeal, they've wanted to make them look a bit more human, a bit more kind. So in that essence, yeah, they were gonna lose. Now, what I will say is this, and I do agree with you on this. This whole situation is pretty much a preview for a rivalry between Kenny Omega and Malachi Black, because those two, screw the other guys, those two put on one hell of a show on there, and it's definitely going to be a feud that is going to last way just beyond their tag teams. So yeah, that's what I'm calling next. But overall, it was a damn good tag team match.
Yeah, it was, man. Like I said, this is one of the matches that really should have been earlier in the card. But yeah, I was super excited. I was really into it. I liked what I saw. I liked how everything was going and all that other junk. And, I was going for House of Black because I like House of Black. I like the aesthetic and all that other stuff. And I think they're cool and I think they're creepy. And I like cool and creepy. That's why I like the Addams Family. And I just hate the Young Bucks. I mean, I don't hate them. It's more like I'm sick of them. And I haven't watched AEW regularly that long. I'm sick of them already. I just think they're just so overplayed and stuff. Kenny Omega I still like, but the Young Bucks, I just want them to go away. Just like I want to do that flippy shit into a lake and just don't flip out of it for a while. I don't want them to die. I just want them to just flip out of there.
The Young Bucks are kind of like that weird ex that after you get rid of them after a while, you kind of miss them, and then once you bring them back, it's like, I wonder why you and me broke up. And then a few minutes later, it's like, oh yeah, flipping. That's why we broke up.
Yeah, they start
pretty much when you want to flip them off, huh?
Oh yeah, that works. Yeah, I want to flip them off. I want someone to flip them off. No, but seriously, I did enjoy the match, with all the spots and things. And I thought it was pretty cool. And like I said, I'm so glad that the House of Black won. And like I said, you saw my reaction. I mean, I don't know how it looked from your perspective. I felt kind of silly, but from your perspective, how did I look?
I don't know. We were both jumping up and down and everything, with our back against our opponents and all that,
Yeah.
I'll let Johnny go first, and then I'll go after.
There was a lot of flippy shit, I guess, with the Young Bucks.
Like I said, I want to flip out of there.
At this point, that's their gimmick. That's what they're selling with. So like, okay, whatever. We're used to seeing that by now. I don't really remember too much about the match. I mean, it's just that I haven't seen Kenny Omega in a while. From my perspective, I haven't seen him that much in the ring, so it's good to see him back. But I definitely like the House of Black. I like their gimmick. I like, the appearance, the music, the wrestling style. I like the whole thing. So I'm glad they actually won the match, because I would have felt a certain way if the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega won the match. Not so much Kenny Omega, but more like the Young Bucks, But, I'm also starting to get the impression that even the AEW, even though the Young Bucks, they're like their favorites, like their favoritism towards them, I think even they themselves, the AEW corporation, they're starting to notice that, what, people are not really flying with the Young Bucks. Oh yeah, they're flying all the time, but you know what I mean? They're not really flying with the Young Bucks that much. So even I think they're starting to notice that they're not really, like, people don't really, like, I don't know, like, it's nothing about. They're not giving them the ratings, that I think they would give them.
One question I have was Kenny like cosplaying as someone? Because his outfit just made me think it was. I just don't know who, but it looks like someone from some anime. I just don't know who.
I don't remember what he was wearing, honestly.
It was blue.
It was a blue kimono that almost looked similar to like something a character from either Bleach or Naruto would wear, but blue.
Let me hang on. Let me see if I can pull up a photo.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that so you mentioned it.
Let me just show this off real quick. Back before we got tired of the Young Bucks, but check it out, guys.
Oh God.
No, this is actually one of their bills that they toss, like, during their, well, they don't do that anymore, do they? But back then, all them bills and everything, but it was cool because it was it was like peso of dollars. So we got
his gear was based off of the new Yakuza game.
Oh,
he was dressed like the villain from the new Yakuza game. His name's Ishin.
But yeah, we got this. We were there at the 3rd episode of Dynamite and everything, so that was pretty cool.
Okay, first off, where do I start? See, the problem, I can explain to you, Johnny, why. I could tell you exactly why. A lot of the AEW guys and a lot of the people behind the scenes and a lot of the fans are not behind the Bucks anymore. See, the problem is with the Bucks, they've always tried gathering as many of their friends around, but they don't realize all their friends are exactly like them. Not just attitude-wise, style-wise. Now, what made the Young Bucks unique is they were always doing crazy flippy shit. But if 99% of the people are doing crazy flippy shit, you're no longer original anymore. That's why no one gives a shit. So,
I know.
I mean, literally, no joke. You can actually, every episode of Dynamite now, you could or Rampage, you could literally check the spot where you know exactly what I'm talking about. The spot where the people are outside the ring. They're all cluttered together. And the guy goes,
Hey,
like that. Ow. Ah. Headphones. Hang on. He goes like, and then he runs towards the rope and then out of the ring every single time. That is their bread. That is their bread and butter. That is their bread and butter. And if everyone's got it, no one's going to come to your bakery. So
I legit hate that so much. And I agree. Like Jim Cornette, but seriously.
I agree.
I like how Rouge does the fake out where he pretends to do it and then stops and just lays.
Naito does that too. That's where him and Naito do that all the time. They literally go like he literally like he just stops like that. But
and the funnier part about it, you think he'd be saved because of the bigger guys. It's like, well, they won't be able to do it, and then Keith Lee shows up.
That's why Samoa Joe is a literal genius, because he always had the perfect counter for those flippy people. He just walks away.
I love it.
Every time he's been doing that since like TNA, like when he fight AJ Styles, AJ Styles like run up, had a chair, backflip. He's like, and then Joe just walks past him and he's like, and everyone's like, wait, why did no one else think of that? Wait a minute.
My cousin,
the way he does it is so hilarious because it's so nonchalant.
Yeah, he's
just like no.
My cousin Kevin, he said that's something he likes about Samoa Joe, the fact that he does that. He said, why should I be in the way of this?
But so going back to the match, this is another thing where there's two things I know for sure. I knew for sure going into this match, if the Bucks and if the Elite were going to lose, Kenny would not take the fall. And I knew this because Kenny is still the IWGP US champion. So they're not going to have him make a pinfall while he's still got a big title in Japan while he's still doing a deal with them. And the other thing I knew for me, and this just shows the dynamic of why I was hoping the House of Black would win, and I'm glad they won. You look at each individual team. You have Kenny, who's clearly a main eventer, and then you have the Bucks, who are at best tag team mid-carders. They can't do anything on their own. They really can't. They cannot survive on their own. If you took Matt Jackson, you put him in a wrestling tournament, he'd be eliminated instantly. But then on the other side, you have Malachi Black, who's already like at a main event level of like just intimidation, character, story, talking, and ability. You have Brody King, who was this close to being a former Ring of Honor champion by almost beat Roosh. He is good enough to the point where like guys like him, guys like Brian Cage, guys like Hobbs, guys that are too big, but they're huge, but they're doing moves that smaller guys do, like Keith Lee. Brody King is exactly like that guy too. Like that kind of guy too. You could see him being a main eventer. And Buddy Matthews, he is also the same kind of guy where you wouldn't necessarily put him on a big spot, but he's a guy who you could put him in any match against anyone, and he may not win, but he would put up a hell of a good match with whoever he put in the ring. Like he proved it in WWE. He made that cruiserweight title matter because no one gave a crap about it. He had feuds with Aleister Black when they were in WWE, remember?
Yeah.
And those matches were awesome. But I'm saying, like, my point of it is you have three guys who are potential main eventers versus one guy who's a main eventer and two jobbers. Or two guys who are flippies. So my thing of it is I always saw it as what would be a better dynamic. And it's also exactly what everyone else is saying. They were so stale. The Elite are a stale gimmick that worked in the early aughts and maybe the mid aughts, and now it's 2023, guys. Grow the hell up. You're making Shawn Michaels, when he calls himself Sexy Boy, look original at this point. Like it's getting irritating.
Yeah,
I'm also
we were big fans of them when AEW started, but now we're kind of like,
Right.
And when they were gone for a while, like I wanted Kenny to come back. I wasn't exactly, wanting. Like I know they're kind of a package deal now, but
right,
like for
like
me, Kenny to come back, yeah. But the Young Bucks too, yay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,